And I saw some short news items about them this week, and I gotta say, these people do know how to. They know how to live, at least in some sense. Maybe they always get smeared as being, quote, soulless and selfish, but they get to experience the fullness of life within this, whatever we want to call it, postmodern world. I don't know. What are you going to do? Try to LARP as Uncle Ted living in a shack in the mountains or the forest somewhere? Are you going to move to the middle of nowhere in the middle of the country to become a homeowner and live the lifestyle of your great-grandparents? Too bad. That's also a LARP. Those days are long gone. You're out there trying to conjure up ghosts if you're doing that. You're doing a rain dance in the face of this techno-feudalism. The truth is, there's really no way to escape history. You're thrown into it. You're already locked in. So, to hell with trying to be a hunter-gatherer. You should be like a Hunter Biden. Get on your knees. Not at some church. You don't want to be on your knees at some church praying. Those parishioners, the numbers are dwindling. They're aging out. They're dying off. So you'll be there in the church, in an abandoned church by yourself, trying to keep it going. No, it's not what you should do. You should aspire to be more. You should get on your knees and attempt to gather the Parmesan cheese out of the carpet fibers. Either thinking it's actual cocaine or it is actual cocaine. You know, you're confused in this drugged up state and you're in a panic. That's what you have to aspire to be. That's why you're down on the ground, trying to get that cheese out of the carpet. And then after that, you get a sponge bath from a hooker. Pay her with the money that the credit card companies have funneled to your father for years and years. That's the sort of electronic value exchange that D. Hawk was talking about when he came up with the Visa network, right? The network, the systems of power, funneling money so your son can be some sort of drug addict, living high off the hog. That's what your life is like, isn't it? Oh, it's not? Then what the hell are you even doing out there? I'm not meant for this life. I want to be American Gigolo, wearing early 80s Armani. I should be walking down the boulevard, window shopping at interesting shops, being pursued by the married woman that I'm having an affair with. I like that. I like walking the streets of major cities, just strolling. I remember walking around Manhattan this summer, listening to the twinkling opening piano sounds of Monkey Man. It produces the same sort of cocksure vibe that one gets while being stalked by a cougar, a rich cougar. Or at least, that's what I imagine. I've never dated a rich cougar. The wealthy are getting too much bad press lately, that's all I'm saying. When their lives honestly sound awesome. The serfs out there, you guys should shut up for a bit and take notes on how to live, how you're supposed to live, what you're supposed to aspire to. I know that I was complaining in the last segment, but that's only because I have yet to ascend the ladder. When I do, that ladder will be pulled up, along with my bootstraps. I'll do both of them once I get to the top. What sounds better? Which of these scenarios sounds better to you? Worrying about paying the rent every month, or being that Canadian snowboarder who just turned himself into a drug kingpin? He's allegedly being backed by the cartels through some Mexican businessman. And I don't think they've caught him yet. But I did see that the government seized his $13 million Mercedes CLK. A bunch of jealous-ass crabs in the bucket, if you ask me. Just like Kyle Chandler's character in The Wolf of Wall Street. Oh, he's that FBI agent taking down Jordan Belfort because he had to ride the subway every day. And Jordan was out there on a yacht. It's like, man, shut up, loser. Go back to Texas and coach high school football. Smash Williams, you gotta run the ball. Smash Williams, you trying to smash my daughter. No, coach. Just give the snowboarder his car back. Think about how cool it would be to spend all that money and speed around in a car that's worth more than your entire subdivision. He was just a guy, the snowboarder. He was a guy who decided to transition from gliding along the snow to selling snow. A type of snow, at least. What are you so mad about? Athletes are always depressed because when they retire, they have a really tough time doing it. They're trying to find a new calling in life after dedicating every waking moment since childhood to being the absolute best at a sport. Are we not worried about their mental health? Is that not a thing? So why are you judging this man? This guy just wanted to sell Coke and buy rare Mercedes. Who are you to judge? And besides, it's all of you. All you freaks out there dipping into your baggie and doing key bumps. You're the ones doing that in a bathroom. He's not. He's just selling it. Unless he gets high on his own supply. And even then, he deserves it. All those grams you guys are out there buying bought him that rare Mercedes CLK. Including, by the way, some of the people who are trying to arrest and prosecute him now. Again, I think I have to say that since he's still on the run as of now, as of what I've read. But even that seems cool. Being rich, being on the run. And the second story I saw this week was about the Giza Plateau and how it's now being used as a concert venue. Hopefully, our snowboarding drug lord can go and enjoy a show while he's on the lam. Apparently, these people, they put a laser on one of the pyramids. Which, while archaeologically speaking, is abhorrent. I'm not denying that. It's also been done. The spotlight at the Vegas Luxor Hotel and Casino puts that little laser light to shame and actually honors a deity like Anubis. They were saying in the article that there could be a beheading of the Sphinx because too many EDM shows will have rattled the stone itself loose and created fractures, and it'll just fall. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Who's to say? Do we actually need this anymore as humanity? Do we need a smug lion person blocking progress like that? Get it out of the way. Trust fund kids and various burnouts need to dance. How's about a nice bass line acting as a slow guillotine for this person, this lion person sitting in the desert like a lump of shit for the past however many thousand years? Take that, you riddle presenting fuck. It's interesting because, as you know, the ancient Egyptians used to drunkenly worship Hathor. And these people are out here now worshiping God knows what, maybe some musical act, I'm not sure. And they're tripping on psychedelics or MDMA. I don't have as much of a problem with the destruction of the Sphinx. The Egyptians have already turned that whole place into a wasteland of various peddlers of tchotchkes and whatnot, trying to get you to ride a camel by saying, my friend, come on. I've never been there, but everyone I've ever talked to who's gone to Egypt said the place basically is overcrowded, hellhole, and they all got food poisoning. I guess you have to have good connections to avoid all that. You have to actually buy someone to show you around the country, a real tour guide. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time. Really, it's the new upper crust destroying the monuments of the old, which have already been occupied and corrupted by the proles. It's the opposite of a place like Palmyra. That's what ISIS, when they were going around, and they severely damaged that place. And I have a severe problem with that. That is the low rising up to destroy something beautiful in the midst of their fundamentalist rage that they were going on back in 2014. probably out there in the desert high on Kif or Mountain Dew. Don't tell me they were high on God or religion either, atheists. James Brown was high on God, and he created Living in America. He didn't irreparably damage Palmyra in the Syrian desert. The ultra high net worth individual versus the lobies. It's a mad scramble for everyone to get to the top, at least in the West, because we still have expectations. We don't have to work in a shoe factory. We all are trying to escape that current wage slavery and future digital prison cell. And both us and the third world laborer will lose our factory jobs eventually. You're forced to try to climb up to that top 10% at least, or higher. Make it 1%. And right now, the 10% is fine. You can already do that, and you already are forced to do that just to try and avoid having a bad fate. That's already a thing. That's why so many of them have to adopt and truly believe some insane things. That upper 10%, if you're not ultra wealthy, you want to be part of that 10%, you have to just do all that shit, because it's the only way, it's the only place that promises any sense of stability, and that number is going to shrink ever more, so you got to keep climbing. Top 10% won't be enough anymore. Top 1%, maybe. Ultra wealthy, that's where you're locked in. And that idea leads me to the Wall Street Journal article that I read, the third one. This is called "The Ultra Rich Are Spending a Fortune to Live in Extreme Privacy." This is the article about the super rich avoiding having to interact with anyone and paying insane amounts to not have to use really any public infrastructure and whatnot. Which is interesting because, to some extent, that's always been the thing with them. They've had these enclaves that restrict access to certain people. But maybe that openness is going away. Maybe they're turning back inward. At least the nouveau riche, the people who've made it recently, which is what this article suggests, that the ultra rich are increasingly paying to live in near total privacy. They're building parallel, insulated lifestyles that minimize interaction with the public. Yeah, you've had Howard Hughes in the past, not being seen in public. That was after he started to lose it, though. He was already going crazy, but he was kind of out and about before. He was already a spurg, but he was out there. Now it's more and more like a breakaway civilization. It's no longer a recluse. It's an entire separate society. A separate breakaway civilization from the UFO one, the UFO technology one. Although, I bet there are connections between the two separate classes, or they're all the same class to some extent. This one, the one I'm talking about, the non-UFO one, maybe I'll talk about the UFO one another time. I think I already have, but this one is using technology and wealth and parallel economies to leave behind the normal world where the rest of us live. Mainly due to what technology and smartphones and social media have wrought. The ultra-rich are doing members-only restaurants while you're at McDonald's. They've got their private jet terminals or their private access points. They've got secret hotel entrances. They have elite concierge networks. They're spending real heavily to avoid crowds, but it's about security risks. They got to avoid that too. And the loss of anonymity that can come when you strike it big, when you become extremely wealthy. They got to protect against that. And I totally get it. I want nothing more than to avoid most of you people. Going to the airport is an abomination. Being around the average person, why wouldn't you pay to avoid that? I've been around the average person my entire life. I've done my part. I want out. I want to join the revolt of the elites. I'm tired of being in the revolt of the masses. I want to switch books. I want to switch ideas. The average man, the one who is content to be like everybody else, when that everybody else is declining in quality. and their interests are declining in quality. They demand nothing special of themselves, except treating them special for doing nothing. You know what's special? This article, what they get to do, using silverware with their name engraved on it. They have these VIP-only spaces, private airport exits, hotel suites, exclusive ones. They got personal butlers in the suite. In the article, that's what these people get, the developers that they're profiling. The people who want to remain private and anonymous, I guess, but are, for some reason, the Wall Street Journal. Masood and Stephanie, who are husband and wife. Do they want to be private or anonymous? I guess they just want privacy. The ultra-rich. I want what they have. Maybe. I don't even want to go to VIP spaces, really. It is interesting that in The Revolt of the Masses, that old book from 100 years ago, the mass man is the one who takes the benefits of civilization for granted and doesn't want the duties or responsibilities for maintaining the civilization that provides them. And now, the rich don't want to do that either. Well, at least they don't want to maintain the pleb world, the breakaway civilization. This alternate universe will be maintained by sheer volume of cash payments until civilization collapses, I guess. Though some of them, as we'll get into, have their bunkers ready. This fortress-like lifestyle, all because Mass Man decided to be even more uppity than in the 20th century. Are you all happy? Are you happy that some of these wealthy people have to buy old, fully decked out missile silos to protect them from you? In the event of catastrophe, these people will be underground, scared in some abandoned Minuteman launching station or in a bunker in New Zealand, while the unwashed masses, all of you, will be on the surface in roaming gangs trying to post on social media. But, it doesn't work anymore. Why are you doing this to the ultra-rich? Bunkers? They got to live in bunkers? They want it to be Bunker Spreckles, a surfer who is the heir to his family's sugar fortune. I saw a documentary about that guy. And I gotta say, what was the point of such a film? He took a cool picture once where he was wearing a fur coat standing next to his hot girlfriend. Okay, I guess there wasn't much there. He died young. There wasn't much content to that documentary. But as a wealthy heir of that time period, Bunker, he got to experience the life of being a chill, druggy surfer guy. And now, the rich have to be in Dubai eating in restaurants with hidden dining rooms. Ugh, sounds like a downgrade to me. Bunker's family was one of those imperial San Francisco families. I'm sure some of the old ones still exist, and they're still rich and maintain power to some extent. Judging what I see on social media, though, they probably now have to share the scene with various tech nerds and their underling strivers who post pictures of them vibe coding, quote, at social events. What a fall. I know the elites aren't that impressive nowadays, and the opposite vision for the world is just a mass of mediocrity and ugliness on top of that. All I'm saying is, maybe we should let them throw raves on the pyramids.